Indy City's finest on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Laura with Creative Freedom Art Hub.
Yeah, so Laura, thanks so much for joining us. I'm really excited to learn about creative freedom and about why you have this business and all the things you do here. It's a really, really cool place. But just to kind of get us warmed up, get to know each other, we have a couple of games that we like to play with people, and it'll be fun. So the first game we're going to play is called This or That. So in this hat, our very fancy hat, we've got a piece of paper, and they have different things on them. So it might be coffee or tea or cat or dog. So we'll pull out one out of the hat, and then we'll find out what it is. And then we'll see, if you like coffee, you can tell me about that, and I'll say I love coffee, or if you're a dog person or a cat person or whatever it is. So just a way to start the conversation.
Okay.
It'll be fun. So why don't you pick one out of the hat?
Spotlight or spectator?
So are you more of a spotlight or a spectator?
Definitely more the spectator.
Yeah. So this is definitely not, you're in your comfort zone probably?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Have you ever been in the spotlight before?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
My daughter has, but I have not.
Yeah, you just like to spectate.
Yep.
Yeah. I would actually say I like being the spotlight, obviously. I'm an actor. I'm doing this sort of thing. I have a podcast, so I do love to be in the spotlight, and it's really fun. But everyone's different. So.
That's right.
Yeah. Nice. All right, I'm going to pick one out of the hat randomly. Ooh, dress up or casual?
Oh, I do like both.
Yeah.
But it's usually casual.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When do you like to dress up?
For usually Christmas, fancy things, if I'm going out for something.
Any particular like style or just?
When I'm not at work.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Casual, what does that look like for you?
Leggings, T-shirt, hoodie.
And what do you, like, I feel like some people, like, when they dress up, they feel a certain way. Like, is there a certain way you feel when you're, like, dressing casually? Are you more comfortable?
Yeah, more comfortable, relaxed. I can be in my own skin kind of thing. Yeah. But then when I dress up, it's more like prim and proper. Want to do the hair, do the makeup.
Yeah. Maybe it feel a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like being here, you're dealing with art material. You probably want to dress a little more casually and have clothes that can get dirty, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, it's a dirty place.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, your turn to pick one out of the hat.
No. Stick or automatic?
You answer first. What do you drive?
Depends on what I'm driving.
Okay.
It's my car, automatic.
Okay.
If it's the motorcycle, stick.
Oh, you got a motorcycle. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's your motorcycle then?
Yes.
Yeah. How long have you been riding for?
I have to go for my road test. Did my written test.
Okay, watch out, people. In
nice
hats.
Right?
Yeah.
Watch out for
Laura's
the
on the road pretty soon.
No, I've been out driving. My boyfriend has his license, so we go out.
So did he get you into motorbikes?
He did.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about that?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you love about it?
It's hard to explain. It's the ability to just get on. You get the wind. It's just, you can go wherever you want. And it doesn't cost a lot of fuel.
True.
Right now, driving anywhere, it costs so much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just the ability to get out and the wind in the hair, and you can't think about everything that's going on because you can only think about the bike.
Yeah, very present.
Yeah. You can't be thinking about everything that happens through the day and everything, the stress and the worries. You can't think about it.
Because you have to focus on balancing and everything else. Yeah. Cool, yeah.
And then we're part of a group that protects kids against child abuse. And so that's huge for us.
That's like a motorbike group? Yeah, tell me about that. What does that involve?
I don't know if I can say that.
Oh, okay. Name. Well, yeah. Maybe we won't say the name, but what do you do for this group? Are you like going out protecting kids like superheroes?
We have some that are for security. So they will actually do security. So if there's an event, they will stand guard and they will make sure that people get home safe. Like a wedding that we were at, security stayed, and they made sure that anybody that was drinking, they drove them home. They made sure that they got home safe and that there's no accidents, and they'll walk members to their vehicles. So we put on events around the city for kids and fundraise and do barbecues and have kids come out. We just did a Nerf war down in Kincooley Park.
Nice.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we get to help kids.
That's great. Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
Just joined about 6 months ago.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So still fresh.
Well, did you know someone in that group that got you involved with it?
Boyfriend.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, they help kids go through the court process and all that stuff.
And everyone in the group like rides a bike. Yeah. Nice.
Some are cagers, which they ride cars.
Okay, so it's
they
a
drive a car,
cager.
yeah.
So I'm a cager. Okay.
They drive a car, so they're in a cage.
Okay. Yeah.
And so some of them don't ride, some do.
That was a new term for me. Cager.
Cager. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the bikes are free. They're more free.
Yeah. And when you're in a car, you're in a cage.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, yeah, like I drive a stick, a manual transmission. And
nice.
Yeah. I mean, I am caged, yes, but I do feel a certain sense of like you're more connected to the vehicle.
Yeah.
You have more control over it, right? And I think just, my first vehicle was a 1984 Jeep Cherokee, and just by chance it was a manual transmission, and so I thought I'm going to learn. I didn't learn when I was driving, but it was a bit rough to start with, but but once I learned, that's all I want to drive now. It's just I really, really enjoy it. So
nice.
Yeah, of course I will drive an automatic, but I prefer a manual transmission.
Manual.
Yeah, but really, I really like that story. That's really great.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. Well, a couple more questions here. Why don't you pick it out?
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
They're random. Doesn't matter who picks it.
Truck or car?
We want a different one. That was no good. We just talked about that.
Yeah, we just talked.
Put it over here. I'll pick it out. Yes. All right. Okay. Sandcastles or snowmen? Which do you-
Sandcastles.
Yeah. You like the beaches? And
Yeah, I'd rather take that over the snow.
Yeah.
Any day.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I like winter if I can look at it through the glass and not have to go in it.
Okay. Have you been anywhere sunny and warm recently?
Recently, no.
Or ever?
I used to live in North Carolina.
Okay.
So I
It's
was
pretty
down,
warm there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I traveled the States a bit and lived down in North Carolina for about 5 years.
Yeah. Around what time was that?
2003, 2004.
Okay, yeah, 20 years ago or so, yeah. What brought you down there?
I ended up marrying a guy in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay.
And then my daughter was born down there. So
So she's a U.S. citizen?
she's both.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
She's a dual, so she can go down whenever she wants.
Great. She'd work down there potentially or go to school or, that's nice. Yeah, nice.
And she does want to become a nurse, so that gives her options.
Okay, great. Yeah. Quite a very colorful life that I'm learning so far. This is great. Yeah. Nice.
No, we lived right about 30 minutes from the beach.
Oh,
so
okay.
it was nice.
That's lovely. Yeah. All right, we've got one more question here, and then we can move on to our other game. You pick it out. Was there two? Yeah, that's the one.
Urban or rural?
Go ahead, Laura. Urban or rural? Where would you rather live?
I can't remember which one's urban.
So city or country?
Country.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have you lived in the country before?
I was born and raised on a farm.
Okay.
Just out by 7 Persons.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did you live on the farm for?
We were out there till I was in, grade 4.
Okay.
So born out there. Well, born here at the hospital, but
Of course.
lived there since I was born.
Oh, that's great.
And then, I've always been on the farm until I was about 13, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, 8 or 9. Grade 4.
Yeah.
So
And what sort of farming did your family do?
they were cattle and hay.
Okay.
So they did the hay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And does your family still farm or
My uncle and his wife, they took over the farm.
Okay.
So they're still doing the hay. They don't do any cattle anymore, but they still have chickens and that kind of stuff.
Nice. Do you have any memorable experiences from the farm? Anything you can remember as a kid?
I got taught how to whistle with a blade of grass.
Okay. Yeah.
And to get the milk out of the bottom part of the grass.
Oh,
And you can eat that part out.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird, but my uncle taught me that, or my cousin taught me that, and then he also taped my mouth shut so I wouldn't talk.
Oh, okay, yeah. A good life lesson.
Right?
Yeah.
Duct tape on the mouth. And
Yeah.
I learned how to milk cows and
Sure.
learned how to separate the milk from the cream from the milk. and go through all that and collect chickens with my aunt. And
Great. Some very valuable, experiences, I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
my sister got terrified of chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she used to help butcher them.
Sure.
And apparently when you cut off the head of a chicken, it still runs around without its head.
Yes, I've heard that.
So she got chased by a headless chicken.
Okay.
So, things I remember.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. Great. Maybe we'll do one more. I just want to do one more. This is such a fun game. I'm going to pick it out. Let's try this one. This is a good one. Sweet or salty? Which do you prefer?
Both combined are pretty good.
Yeah. Sweet and salty, yeah.
Depends on what I'm in the mood for.
You don't have like a preference, like one or the other usually?
Probably usually salty more than sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sort of salty snack do you like to have?
Potato chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't say a brand, but like...
Or French fries.
Oh, yeah, French fries.
Like the salty fries.
Nice.
Those are good.
Yeah, I do love like the kettle cooked kind of chips. So good. Yeah.
The crispy ones.
Right. I would say I'm more of a sweet person. I like to... I'm more like a sweet tooth, but a little bit of chocolate after dinner. So good. Yeah.
Mine's ice cream after dinner.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so that's the this or that game.
Okay.
Thanks for playing.
Thanks.
So the next game it's to do with this tumbling towers that you can see here that we've set up beforehand. But you might notice that there's a whole bunch of numbers written on it. That's not normal with this game. But each number has a corresponding question to it. So it's like an open-ended question. It might be like, what's your perfect day like? Just to kind of get you thinking. And it's just, imagine you were like at a campfire and you're just talking and you don't have a TV or phone. So you just ask questions and we just talk about stuff and it's good.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll pull out the tile. We'll get the number, and we will, whatever number that is, that's the one we'll do. We will need the paper, so Perry's going to grab that because we didn't grab it. It's in my backpack. Yeah, so that's the game. Have you played the Tumbling Towers game before?
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
How would you say? Are you good at it? Or?
Yes, I think so.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
We will find out. Yeah, and we're kind of limited how much we can move, but we'll play as best as we can for sure. I really enjoy the Tumbling Towers game. It's always good at parties and it's very fun.
Makes a lot of noise.
Right? Yeah, we'll see if we do topple it, we will see. All right, so I've got the list here. This is the list. So I will get you to start. So wherever you want to poke around, pull a number, and I will ask you a question.
What is that? 35?
35. What other language would you like to speak?
German.
Oh, and why is that?
My family is all German, Russian.
Okay.
So I'd love to be able to learn the language that my grandmother spoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you been to Germany?
No, I'd love to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they have lots of the good motorbiking in Europe, so you could get a motorbike.
Might.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I like it. Good.
I want to go see my family's homestead from when they lived over in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And do you have any family there still, or no? Yeah,
no, they all immigrated here.
Sure. Yeah. But no, that's great. Yeah, that would be a great language to learn. I would say for me, probably Spanish. My partner is from Spain.
Nice.
And I've tried to learn Spanish, working on it. But if I could speak it fluently, it'd be great. Her parents were here for the first time in Canada over the summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we took them to Canmore and Banff and all over else the mountains. We like going to the mountains, but they don't speak any English, so it was sometimes difficult to communicate. But sometimes it was nice because they might be fighting and I can't. I don't know what they're saying, so it's great. So I think I would like to learn Spanish. I think, yeah. All right. Well, let me give it a try. Find that one looks good. 29. What's a song you could listen to on repeat? If you just like in your on your motorbike, got the headphones in, any sort of, or even like a genre.
Oh, I don't know the name of the song, but it's in my playlist.
Great. Nameless song in her playlist. Yeah.
It's usually country that I listen to.
Country music.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That's great. For me, oh boy, yeah. I mean, I've got that one song. It's like, oh, how does it go? Oh, I'm gonna blank too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that song. That song.
That song.
Yeah, so that's the one I would like. I used to listen to country when I was younger. Kind of grew out of it, I guess. My dad was is a musician. He played lots of country music.
Oh, wow.
I liked country, for sure. But I think I like to listen to a lot of kind of like bands that are not on the conventional radio as much.
Mm-hmm.
I won't name any of them, but I like some of that.
Yeah, I have a playlist that I listen to that's more acoustic of regular traditional songs, but they sing it acoustically. And I found them on TikTok,
nice.
oddly enough. And they have a playlist on Spotify, and I just stuck with it.
Great. Yeah, that's the great thing about streaming, right? You can always find different things. Yeah. All right, let's do one more. Pull it out. Tile. Nice. Oh, good.
52.
52. Oh, gotta flip the page over. If you could live as any animal for one day, what would you be?
Oh.
Would you fly? Would you swim?
I'd probably fly.
Yeah. So any particular bird? Big, small, hummingbird, eagle?
Probably an eagle or a raven, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know. For me, it comes to mind just like a lion. I'd like to be a lion in the desert.
Nice.
A lion. I could just hang out and relax, and they're just.
And nobody can.
Yeah, they can't mess with you. You're the king of the of the jungle. Yeah. So I think I think we've got enough information. Yeah. Isn't it a fun game?
That is.
That is fun, right?
I think I might have to do that with my tumbling towers at home and put numbers on
right?
them.
Yeah. Then you can just change the questions as much as you want. It's great.
I can grill my kids.
You could, yeah.
You
could
figure out
math
all the questions.
or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, so it is multi-purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. Find out what they've been up to in school.
Right. Yeah.
Find out if there's a boyfriend.
Right. Trick them into giving you the answers. So, yeah. So thanks so much for playing this game with us. This has been the Windy City's Finest on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac. He's Perry. Thank you so much for.
That's a.
Hello and welcome once again to the Windy City's Finest on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Perry, he's Mac, and this is Lora with Creative Freedom. And thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. And I'm super excited to dive into this segment with you, where we're really just diving into the organization that you started here and what it is you do. And I think that's as good a place as any to start. What is Creative Freedom? What does Creative Freedom do?
Well, what it does, I do mostly ceramics, so pick and paint. But I also provide a place for artists to come and hold classes, to be able to do things and provide opportunities for the public to come in and learn something new, to be themselves and do something that they don't always get to do.
Yeah, I love that. And what I'm hearing is definitely this idea of like holding space for people, which I really appreciate. And I think that as an artist myself, I find myself often doing that. And so I'm just wondering if there's anything you have to add in regards to holding space for people and the people that do come in. And then I would also love to talk about the programs, but we might get to that later. But this is what's captivating me right now, that idea of holding space for people and what it means for you to create that space, to hold space for people. Yeah.
I think creativity is important in our lives. It helps with stress. It helps with learning through trauma, dealing with things in your life. That creativity just gives you a chance to be yourself or learn something new. Creativity can be painting, it can be drawing, it can be doing models, it can be knitting, crocheting. It doesn't matter. If it's an art form to you, then it's art. And it shouldn't have to have a label on it. It shouldn't have to be a box that says, oh, well, when you're here, you can only do this. It should be a place where somebody can come in and go, hey, I just really want to draw. Okay, we've got the pencils, we've got the paper. We've got the things you need. So I really like the idea of having a place where people can be free to create, no matter what it is. So we started a thing every Tuesday that we have people that come in, bring a craft from home, bring a project they're working on at home. Doesn't matter what it is. They can come into our studio and they can sit down and be with groups of like-minded people, and they can teach each other things. I have a lady that comes in and does oil painting, and I'm learning from her about oil painting because it's not something I do. And to me, that means more. Being where you can learn from each other and you becomes a group, becomes a community.
Yeah, kind of more interconnectedness is what the word that's coming to mind, you know, and that you don't have to be, what I think I'm hearing is that you don't have to be this, you know, incredibly established, prestigious, professional artist in order to share what it is you do with somebody, right?
You don't.
And I'm also hearing that idea of, I think it's that idea of like, that there don't have to be all these rules.
No.
And I think sometimes when people think of art, you know, they place rules in the way of doing the thing. And so I don't know if there are any like stories of people who muster the courage to get out here, but maybe they have those rules in place. I don't know.
I've had a lot of people come in and say that they're not talented enough to do this. And I'm like, you don't need to be talented. I said, this is like drawing in a coloring book, especially with ceramics. It's already pre-done. You just got to color it. You know, you don't need to have, and everybody's talented in their own way. Every piece of art is going to come out looking differently, no matter who painted it. And it's going to be beautiful either way. I've had a homeless person that came off the street, and she came in and she painted, and she paid for everything. She is wonderful to have in here, and she keeps coming back. And she said this is the one place that makes her feel like she's not on the street. So it's a place where, you know.
Yeah, I just want to sit with that for a moment because there's something very poignant in that, I think. The fact that, I mean, I don't want to cut you off. I want to hear what you have to say, but that idea that creativity is innately human. And so, holding that space for people to come and be human. Yep.
Because like she tried to give my daughter $5 for Christmas. And I said, no, you keep that. And I gave her a hug. She cried, and she's been coming back ever since. Because it just feels like she's welcome here, and she is. As long as people are respectful when they come in the door, they're welcome here.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And I think where it takes my mind is kind of like, is that kind of why you started this space? Why you started Creative Freedom? Or what was the reason?
It developed into that.
Yeah, interesting.
Me and my daughter started this. We started in our basement at home. And we started with a Cricut and a sewing machine, and we just liked making crafts and liked doing art. And my daughter goes, well, why don't we start an Etsy shop? And I looked into it, and I'm like, well, you need a business license and, you know, all this stuff. And I was like, I've always wanted to have a ceramic shop. I've painted since I was 8, and I've loved ceramics ever since I was 8. I learned from greenware and how to clean, and eventually learned how to pour, and I just wanted this. And I was like, okay, well, let's do the Etsy shop. Let's try this. We'll start building a stock and slowly just kind of bring things in and get ready. And then I found the Facebook ad that had all the product there that I could need to start a shop, and it was an affordable price, and he was willing to take payments. I drove back and forth to Camrose, picking up everything, and I think I made about 4 or 5 trips in a minivan. I put a kiln in a minivan.
Oh my gosh.
And the molds and everything else, just so that I could bring it here and bring it back. And then my daughter goes, what happened to starting slow? Because then I found the building, and then we opened it up. And we've done demos in here and ripped down 10 walls and opened the space up to be more open for people. And me and my daughter just wanted a place where people, the bookshelves are in the way, but the motto is a place to be you. And so it's literally that. That's what we wanted. Not necessarily ceramics and pottery. She wanted a place where she could teach art on canvas. And so it just became the place that could be the freedom to create, which gave us our name, which gave us our logo.
That's very interesting. It feels like there's kind of been a little bit of a flow to it.
There has. Like it started as one thing and then it kind of ebbed and flowed. And then as we were in here and as we've gone through things, it's like, oh, well, no, I really want, like, I want to be able to take pottery to the park. And I want to take the pieces and go sit in the park where people in the summer can sit in the park and you can really get that community of people together, no matter who it is. We're all human. That's one race. That's it. So, yeah, it's kind of been going little dips and curves and, you know, brought in the Tuesdays where people can just come in. Because who wants to sit at home and work on crafts by themselves?
Right. It's kind of that like human connection thing, right? The community aspect to it, which I think you mentioned at the start.
Well, and especially after COVID, that human connection kind of disappeared. So having that ability to just come in and not be expensive. Being able to do arts and crafts or a hobby should not have to be expensive. So I would rather have people sitting in here and doing what they love than paying me money to sit on a seat.
Right. Yeah, and that sounds like an accessibility aspect, which I understand is very important. But I really want to touch on really quick the starting slow idea. Do you feel like that has been like a tendency for you, or like it's just the momentum and maybe the meaning behind what it is you've kind of found here? Or?
I've always been a person that everything happens for a reason. So finding the ad with an entire studio ready to go that's how I've lived my life, is everything happens for a reason. It's going to come into your life for a reason. It's going to show up at the moment that it's meant to, and you just take it and you go. I don't know if that's always fast, but
no. Some things are slower than others, I bet. But it reminds me of that being present with what is coming and going. And it reminds me in your last segment with Mac there, motorbikes and how you sounded like you find a sense of groundedness or presence in that. And so it sounds like that's maybe a theme throughout your life.
Yeah, the calmness, the peace, there's so much therapy in art. Like, you take a broken, chipped plate, you can still repair it. It can still become a plate. It's still a plate. It just has some chips or it has some dings. And as people, we have dings, we have dents, we have imperfections. So why not reflect that in our art as well? Like, I want to start doing, it's called kintsugi, and it's the art of broken pottery and putting it back together. So using the rage room and taking a plate and breaking it. But before that, writing down all your feelings, all the hurt, the anger, the trauma, writing all that on that plate, breaking it, and then taking that gold, putting it all back together, and you get something from broken, you get something beautiful from it. So you can internalize that and you can look at life and you can go, okay, yeah, I'm broken. I've been hurt. I've been this. But I can still be whole. I can still be the person I am, learning from the traumas and the hurt. And I what I'm really appreciating is that idea of sometimes I think when we talk about being broken, there can be this idea of loss associated with it. But what I think I'm hearing is that idea that you actually still have everything you need. It's just not in the right, positions or necessarily. And it doesn't look the same as it used to.
It doesn't look the same as it used to.
It's still there.
Yeah.
We just got to find it.
Yeah. And it's also, you mentioned briefly the motto, which is...
A place to be you.
A place to be you. And I just, hearing this really brought that to the forefront of my mind of you. What is you? Who are you? And that you can potentially find that through art.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't have to be super expensive.
Nope.
And
it doesn't have to be a professional.
Right.
I did not go to school for art. I didn't. I took art in school, in high school, and I like to do it, but I'm not a professional at it. But you don't need to be.
Don't need to be.
You just need to enjoy it.
Oh, that's amazing. And maybe we'll come back to that. But
Yeah.
In talking about, you said that you had started, I forget what specifically, but when you were 8. And then I'm curious about hearing more of acquiring, that whole, the minivan and the kiln in the minivan. And just like when you started, was that your first time with that equipment? And it was just like, this is my opportunity. And so you dove in, not necessarily slow.
No, I dove in head first.
Head first, yeah.
Yeah, no, I already owned the minivan, and I owned a courier and delivery service. So I'm used to traveling.
Right.
But no, I just drove up with my van and filled it up as much as I could, and then drove back. And I did that every other weekend, and we would just make trips back and forth. But the kiln was the fun one. We got it in on that end. We just lifted it and put it in. But on the way here to get it out, we used a tow truck to get it out. So we used the winch line
Right.
and just winched it out of the back of my van.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so once I found the building, I started bringing everything. Yeah.
Nice. And I want to step back for a second and just recognize that this is a relatively new organization, especially in the community, it sounds like, right?
Yes.
And so is there anything you want to add about that, or potentially what has that journey, because it sounds like this has been like a longer journey than it actually has been. And so I'm just curious. Like,
Yeah. Last September of 2023 is when we opened. We got the building in August, and then, we literally just last year, it all kind of came together and worked my butt off to get here. But ever since I opened the door, it's been a learning process. It's a learning journey of, how do I do these things? I've never owned a shop before. I've owned a business before, but it's a courier and delivery service. I'm working out of my car.
right.
There's not a storefront. There's not all these added things to it. So it's been a learning process, and I'm still learning every day.
Yeah. As you should, I think, right? Yeah. And is there value in that for you? Like, does it ever feel tedious, or maybe sometimes?
Well, maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
But most of it is learning. It's a good thing for me because I'm learning how to do things differently. I'm learning that there is a different way to do things rather than just the way I've done it all the time.
Right.
So, yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy coming to work, and I think everybody should enjoy coming to work.
Right.
It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be, oh man, I got to go to work. I get up for work and I have a smile on my face and I get to come do what I love. So.
I love that. I love that, and I echo that with all of my heart. And I'm just curious. Did you have the idea for this like before? So it sounds like in August it founded, but like, was the idea for this space?
It's all the idea for the ceramics and pottery shop has always been here. It's always been with me. Since I was 8, when I started painting, I just fell in love with it, and I always wanted to have a ceramic shop. And I tried a few other times, and it just kind of, I chickened out. I tried to find a building, but I'm like, oh, it's too hard, and I chickened out, or I did it myself, and I'm just like, my fears got in my way, and this time it didn't. I just kept pushing.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you mentioned your daughter a few times and just like that kind of relationship. But do you feel like that was a part of being able to kind of like push through this time? Or?
Definitely. Because it's something that me and her did together.
Right.
It wasn't just me by myself. I had somebody with me that was helping me go, hey, what about doing this? We could do this. We could do painting on canvas. We could do paint nights and date nights. And so, yeah. And then we got the pottery wheel, and then we just kind of went, ooh, we can do date nights. And so last year we did, or in February we did, at Valentine's Day, we did the date night on the pottery wheel. So we did the ghost experience.
Amazing.
And we had twinkle lights up in the room, and we had the music playing and candles on, and yeah, we just had fun with it.
That's awesome. And I think that's honestly a great segue into circling back around to kind of some of the services that you offer here. And one of the phrases I remember hearing and reading was the pick and paint.
Yes.
And so, yeah, is there anything you want to add about that?
Well, in my eyes, it's kind of self-explanatory, but I guess a lot of people don't understand what pick and paint is. And really, it's picking a piece off the shelf and sitting down and painting it. That's kind of in a nutshell. I get a lot of people that ask if I do classes. So we're starting to put more classes together for it. But a lot of it is just drop-in. So people can come in, just pick a piece off the shelf. They can sit down and paint. And I'm here to guide them and instruct them through it every step of the way. Even though it's just a drop-in and they're like, hey, I'm here. I'm like, okay. And so I guide them through with what kind of paint they want to use, whether it be glaze or acrylic, how many coats they need, what they need to do to the piece to prep it. And I kind of go through all the basics of what they need to do to make their piece look the way they want it to come out to look. And I do that with them one-on-one, no extra cost. That's just me.
Yeah, that's just you.
I just help them. They want their piece to look like that koi bowl. My daughter did that one. And she's like, she didn't know how to do it. How do you get the koi fish? And it's simple. You can put transfer paper.
Some of the tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade, yeah. You can use transfer paper or carbon paper. You can even just use, you can print out an image off the printer. And you just lay it over top of the glaze and draw over it with a pencil, and it puts the image on for you.
Interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. And another one that I remember reading was The Rage Room.
Yes.
Which we may very well get to see later. I believe Mac is very excited. Yeah, again, I love it. Pick and paint seems fairly straightforward. Rage Room seems fairly straightforward, but for the sake of, posterity.
It is, a lot of people ask, so mine is a pottery rage room. There are no weapons included. Your weapons are your hands. That's what you get. But yeah, you get to go and smash your pottery. So we've got packages that go from just being a quick rage to being a little bit more in depth, where you get a milk crate full of pieces and you can just go smash your hearts out. You can even bring in your own pieces. So you can, I think it's $15, and you can bring in a milk crate full of pieces from home. It cannot be glass. It has to be ceramic or pottery. It can be ornaments as long as it's ceramic or pottery. And they can bring it in from home and they can smash it downstairs. So it gives people an outlet. We've had people ask for divorce parties. Because it's like get a divorce and you've got all this dinnerware left, or you've got these plates left and you don't want them. Well, but you're going through a divorce and it's crappy situation. So, hey, you want to get some anger out? Smash away.
Better to take it out on the pottery.
Yes. And better to have that space, that room where you can do it and you're in a safe environment and nobody gets hurt. You don't, glass breaking something in your backyard, and if you have dogs, they step on that can hurt. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm hearkening back to that holding space.
Yep.
Even for potentially what might be considered like ugly emotions, you know what I mean? But they are still valid emotions. And I think that when we don't hold space for them, it doesn't work for us typically, I think. So, yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Very interesting. Right on. Unless there's any other services that you wanted to talk about, I know that you also kind of towards that accessibility point, kind of have artists here as well.
Yes, we have Lazy Daisy, or can I say their name?
Yeah.
Lazy Daisy Clothing Company. They're in the basement. They make all their hoodies and their shirts, their merch here. We sell it here, so it's always available and accessible. And then that's the only artist that we actually have in studio.
Right.
But we have artists that come in and do classes and that's all they do here. They don't want a studio space. They just want to be able to come hold classes.
Yeah.
So we have access to that.
And I think one of them is Roxanne.
Yes.
R&M Fluid Arts,
Yes.
who we did feature last season. So that was super cool to kind of
She
see
is-
that connection. Yeah.
She was just here and did a homeschooling class. And so the studio had 30 students in here and all doing fluid art. And it was so amazing to see, and just the kids' faces light up, and they get to learn this cool technique. And she is such a good teacher.
Amazing.
She is so good.
That's amazing. And yeah, I'm curious if there's any more that you can tell me about that engaging with artists in the city in that way, and if there's anything more you can share about that.
I try to work a lot with artists, especially artists that work out of their homes.
Right.
People that already have art studios, they're already pretty well known. They've got their stuff set up, and but people that work out of their home or they're hobbyists and they don't think they're artists,
Right.
those are the people that I try to connect with. The people that are at the markets and working their butt off and trying to sell their stuff and trying to be acknowledged as an artist. Those are the people that I want to connect with. Those are the people I want in here, because they're doing what they love. And they're like me. They don't think they're an artist. They think they're just a hobbyist. And this is just something they love to do. And, well, I'm going to make a couple extra bucks at it. But, yeah, so I try to get I try to work with a lot of the local artists.
And if I may, the thing that's striking me right now is, they may not feel like they're an artist, but potentially they are just a creative.
Yeah.
And I think, potentially there's some like power in that.
It is.
And like owning that. Although I can also understand the trepidation of being like, I'm a creative. Like I get the trepidation, but like, for whatever reason, if there are those blocks about being an artist, but certainly creativity is something that's accessible, I think, right?
Yeah.
And you spoke to that, and on that note, I would love to talk more about accessibility, and I'm curious to hear more about the kind of people that you support here, was that intentional, or did it just kind of happen?
Well, at first it was intentional. We left up a lot of the walls and studio spaces that the Hive had here originally.
Yeah.
And we did rent out spaces so that artists could have a space that was their own. They could come in, they could do their thing. They could represent themselves. They could hold classes here. They could do all that. But it kind of went a little downhill. So we just kind of opted out of that. Instead of having them have their own space here, I just provided a space that they can rent.
Right.
So they can pay a daily fee or an hourly fee, whichever. If they're only going to be here for an hour, well, it might be cheaper to do the hourly fee.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just, they can rent it by the day or the hour. Then that way there were a lot of paths that were overstepping that was being done by some of the artists that were in as a studio, thinking that they were part of the business or part of my business, and trying to overstep boundaries a little bit. So it had to be more of a business decision, not personal. I loved the people that I had in here. But yeah, it was just more of a business decision that I had to look out for creative freedom and to be able to have multiple services in here instead of just one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I what I'm kind of gauging from that is that idea of kind of taking care of yourself in order to be able to take care of others.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of live by the motto of, hey, when you're on an airplane, you always have to, if there's turbulence or if there's going to be an accident, you have to put your own mask on first before your child's.
Oof, yeah. That's
so it's kind of the same way with here. I have to take care of me, and I have to make sure that everything is good so I can be here fully for other people.
Fully for other people and hold that space. Yeah. And do that work, because it is work.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I'm curious, what is next, or what's on the horizon for this brimming enterprise of yours?
Gosh, I don't know what's next.
You're too in the moment. Yeah.
It kind of comes every moment. I'm working more on having classes.
Yeah.
So that there can be the classes. People really want the group environment, or to be able to come in as a group of people and do something together.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to work on getting more classes in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. And am I right in that you do work with like at-risk youth or homeless people, people that are homeless, and again, was that kind of an intentional thing, or was it just part of holding that space and people find their way here because they're meant to in that moment and they need it? And
that's kind of how it's been. It's not really been a planned thing. It's been more of it just happened.
Yeah.
We're in downtown Medicine Hat, so unfortunately we are in the center of the at-risk category
Sure.
of Medicine Hat. So it just kind of happened. She ended up walking in here, and she took that chance to be able to walk in and go, hey, and it took a lot for her to be able to do that. So I'm going to hold the space here for those people that are going to take that chance to walk in my door. And that if they're respectful and they're coming in here, that means the rest of my customers need to be respectful that they are allowed to be in here as well. This is a space that is for everyone, not just for the people paying hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And it's actually harkening back to one of the things I think you said you had done, where you're pottery in the park, I think you had said. And so like that kind of idea of an exchange there, where it's not just, again, it's that kind of interconnectedness. And I don't know if that inspires any thoughts for you, but it's something.
It does. I actually have thought, it came to mind a lot. There used to be a place in the States that would do haircuts for homeless, and to make them feel, because you get a haircut, you feel better. You feel good about yourself, right? Well, a lot of the homeless, they don't have anything that makes them feel good. How are they going to feel good and go about their day and maybe get that job, or maybe take that next step if that's where they want to go, if they don't feel good about themselves, and if everybody that walks past them makes them feel like they're homeless. And so I would love to be able to take my pottery into the park where they get the opportunity to sit down and paint.
Right.
To feel like somebody cares instead of somebody kicking them because they're laying on the ground.
Right.
I have a huge heart, and sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes it's a, but I don't look at it that way.
Yeah. This is kind of inspiring a question for me, and I don't quite know how to word it, but I'll try my best. It's just that idea of, in relation to the city, and just, I don't know what the question is specifically, but I'm just curious if, even along the street, is there a connection that you feel with other business owners, or is it kind of those that have the courage to come in the door and because you're here for them if they're ready to come in the door? I don't know if there's a question in there or if I'm asking it correctly, but
well, like, I don't work a lot with the businesses on 2nd Street, but I do definitely hold the place of, you are welcome to walk in the door, and you, no matter who you are, that my door is always open.
Right.
So if it's something that, like, I've had some come in and ask for water, I'll give you water. It's tap water, but hey, it's water.
Yeah.
I had somebody came in and asked for a garbage bag because his bottle spilt. Well, I give him a garbage bag. So no matter what that looks like, it might not be to do art. There have been some that have been scary that have come in here, and, rightfully so. But I changed my hours and adjusted that accordingly for the downtown area. So
again, taking care of yourself first, of course,
and taking care of the customers, the people that are coming in. I do bookings Fridays and Saturdays in the evenings. So then that way I can have the door locked at private functions, private bookings. Yeah.
Amazing. And again, I also I really want to highlight, just because I feel like people with big hearts, they don't often get the spotlight that they deserve. And I remember with Mac, you're not necessarily a spotlight person.
I'm not, no.
So I just want to highlight that, and also that in contrast with, the small deeds that I think go much further than we give them credit for.
Yeah.
And that, you're able and willing to kind of commit to those. So I want to vocalize that.
Well, thank you.
And I think my last question for you here, before we wrap up this segment, is one that we're trying to ask most people that we feature. And it's just, how has this organization and or your own artistic journey changed you? And it's very open-ended. But yeah, I'm curious.
It's actually helped me get out of my head by being able to get back into my art and being able to do the art again. I'm not so stressed anymore. I used to be really stressed. I'd get home from work and I was stressed because the house wasn't clean or the kids didn't do this. And believe it or not, since I've had the shop, the stress isn't there. I've been able to paint. I've been able to deal with my emotions or deal with the things that are going on, and the house isn't a problem anymore. It's not a problem. It's not a stress. I feel like I can breathe. That I'm more grounded. I'm more able to deal with the things as they come and just kind of go, okay, that happened. Let's go. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that's impacted me. And then learning how to be a front, like retail store. Right. That's been a big journey, but it's still ongoing.
Well, I really appreciate your insight there. And I think that if anybody out there could do with anything, I think breath is our best friend.
Oh, yes.
And so hearing that, and it also harkens back to, what you're talking about like kind of the therapeutic nature of art and how that sounds like it has, allowed you to change and breathe more and feel a bit more grounded. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think that is all the time we have for this segment.
Okay.
So I thank you so much for your time and energy. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been the Windy City's Finest on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Perry. He's Mac. And this has been
Lora
with Creative Freedom.
Welcome to Windy City's Finest on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Lora.
All right, so for this segment, we're going to do a showcase. So for some artists, we might see their pieces. But I thought for the creative freedoms, it'd be really good to actually just see the studio and see what you do here. We've been talking about it quite a bit, so I just really want to see what you're all about and what we're doing. So we thought we'd start at the counter because it kind of made sense. Yeah, there's a story behind this counter. Where'd you get this counter?
I got this counter from a business a couple doors down. They were going they didn't want them anymore, so I bought them from them, and that became my till counter and my
great counter.
Blaze and customer pieces.
Yeah. Oh, so this is things that people buy, or?
This is pieces that people have painted and are waiting for them to come back and pick them up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it's a lovely, lovely display. So yeah. And then you have the logo here, the Creative Freedom with the Phoenix.
We had fun.
Yeah.
We had fun with that.
How so? What did you?
We actually splattered the paint.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then everything got put on over top.
Oh, it looks great. Yeah, very, very authentic. I love it.
Yeah,
great. All right, well, I think we're gonna go to the back here and check out a few different things. So, come on back. Let's go to the back.
More customer pieces.
More customer pieces, great, and some pieces about to be started.
Yep.
So back here, this would be called the pick and paint, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, then you have the tables here where people can
sit down and
paint.
We provide all the brushes, all the tools, everything they need to be able to create their piece.
That's great, yeah.
So we've got a variety of pieces, paint, the brushes, 5 bowls of water so they can clean and sponges and stuff.
Yeah, tell me about some of these pieces. So some of them are practical, right? And
Yeah, so behind you we have the plates and bowls and coffee cups. So that's more of your functional pieces. There's candle holders, there's vases, there's plant holders, there's, what do you call it now?
you can watering cans,
There we
yes.
go. I wanted to
You
say
can actually use it
teapot.
as a watering can?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Everything would be
very
food
functional.
safe. If you're painting a plate or a bowl, it's all food safe.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Do you have like
so-
maybe a favorite if you had to pick from some of these that you really love to?
Not out here
Okay.
in my greenware, yes.
Okay, all right.
I'm actually working on a cup on the table over there with the orchids.
Nice. And so how long would people be here sitting and painting? Is it?
Roughly about 2 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Takes about 2 hours to get from kind of start to finish. Some people take a little bit longer, so I have a shelf right there that's called my work in progress shelf.
Okay.
And anybody that's not finished a piece and they need to go home, or I've had people come in on their lunch break,
Sure.
and they'll come over and paint, and they're like, I didn't get done. No, it goes on the shelf. Next time they come back, they grab their piece off the shelf,
Perfect. Yeah,
continue painting.
Yeah, yeah. And you have some groups coming too for?
Yes, I just had the Oil Wives Club in today.
Okay.
So they were in, and there was 9 of them, and they came in and painted coffee cups.
And what was the name of their group?
Oil
Wives?
Wives Club,
Like,
like all the oil field guys,
yeah,
their
okay,
wives.
yeah. They
So
kinda-
it's like I asked them about it, and they're like, "What's like a friendship group?"
Sure.
So we all get together and do something every month, or
And okay, so you're not part of that group, or they
No.
just come in? Yeah, yeah.
Nope, they just
Yeah.
came in.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Spilling the tea with the oil wives. I like it.
Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
We've had the Cypress Club make orders with us. They want wine coolers to keep their bottles in, so we get kind of a little bit of everything.
Nice. And so people can pick the paint over there. And do you give them any sort of like guidance or anything about
Yeah,
what
so-
they need to do, the process?
Yeah, we kind of go through guidance of that they kind of match the plates. And so it's 3 coats to get a solid coverage.
Okay.
1 coat if you want more of a watercolor look. But yeah, they all have kind of either textiles or the plates that show what the colors look like out of the bottle.
Sure.
We have some, a lot of the paints will oxidize in the kiln, so they'll change color.
Oh, yes.
So we have one that is this color,
Okay.
and it's actually green when it comes out of the.
Oh, it looks like almost copper, kind of
Yeah.
red, yeah.
So
Huh.
it's definitely different. Some people come in and they go, "Are you sure that that's going to be green?"
Yeah,
I'm like, yes.
Interesting.
But
yeah.
the glaze changes color, whereas acrylic paint doesn't. So when you paint with acrylic paint, it is the color it is when it comes out of the bottle.
Oh, okay.
So you can see your colors better. That witch and the devil on the shelf is acrylic, as opposed to
go
this
over
here, which is glaze.
Okay, so that would have changed color, but the witch and that don't. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I do notice a difference. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the difference between the glaze and the acrylic, some people like the acrylic because they can blend their colors, they can see it. It's easier to functionality for them, but
Yeah.
it's not food safe.
Oh.
So this is food safe. So if they're wanting to do a plate or a bowl, anything like that, it has to be glazed.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah, was there anything else in this room that you think you'd like to show me that's interesting?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm curious. So at this stage, people are ready to paint these pieces, but something happens before that. We have to actually make them, put them in a mold, right?
So a lot of people don't. A lot of people
No.
will order them in already pre-made.
Oh, okay.
So this is what's called bisque, and this has already been fired and hard. If you drop it, it'll break, but it won't break as much as greenware.
Okay, and what greenware you call it?
Yeah, so greenware is the raw product out of the mold.
Okay.
And so once it dries, it becomes greenware, and then we clean off the seams and make it so that it's ready to go in the kiln. We fire it, and then it comes out white like this, so then it becomes bisque.
Okay, greenware.
But it's not green.
Not green. All right. Well, let's go check out down here at the earlier stage.
Yes, this is where it all happens. This is
The
where it all
magic
starts.
happens. So yeah, tell me about what's going on here.
Well, so that coffee mug that you picked up, that is this mold. So it is actually a plaster mold that I would pour liquid slip into. So it's not clay like potters use on a wheel, it's liquid. So what I would do is I would close this up and I would use these bands to band it all shut so that it can't open. And then once it's all banded, once it's all banded and sealed, I would pour the liquid slip in here.
Okay.
And then it would sit for about a half hour. It's going to sink a bit. I'd top it up and keep doing that until it's not sinking, and it's about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Okay.
So you'll see on the walls, it'll get about 1/4 of an inch thick, or the thickness of 1/4. Then it's ready to dump all that slip back out.
Okay.
So then we dump all the slip back out, and it really goes a long way. So I can, probably a gallon of slip, I can pour about 30 coffee cups.
Okay.
So it goes a long way. I can get a lot poured. This mold alone makes 2 instead of this one that just makes 1.
Oh, what is that?
That's a ball candle.
Oh, okay.
So not quite sure exactly. Some of the molds I look at and I'm going,
Yeah.
but you can modify them in this stage. So when they come out of here, they're still leather hard. So they're still a dark brown color. And then when they dry, they go to this.
Okay.
So these here, this would be a salt shaker. And I would clean this seam off.
Okay. With just like sandpaper or?
You can use sandpaper.
Maybe this brush
these nail file type.
Okay.
And then I would also use these guys. These are typically what I would use to get this seam off, and you literally just scratch it off.
Right.
And then these spots underneath the handles, I like these guys because I can literally go in and I can smooth out those spots so that the seam's gone. Same within here, you can use the little brushes. This is like meditation for me.
Yeah.
I can sit down with greenware and clean seams and I zone out because I just get into it and I'm done. When it's in this stage, you can modify anything. So I have taken African violet pots. I don't know if you know what those are.
I don't know what that is.
Well, let's do this for example. It's a pot. We can take this tool, the sharp edge, and I can carve into it. So we've actually carved jack-o'-lanterns with greenware
Okay.
because I don't have a pumpkin mold.
Sure.
So I can take anything that's this shape and we can give them tools and you can carve right through. Because this is a pot, I can go and I can make a drainage hole. Just like that.
Oh, wow. Just like that.
Just like that. And then that way when I fire it, now that hole is there, so whenever somebody puts a plant in it, they've got the drainage holes.
Yeah.
Where if I don't do that before the kiln stage, it's too late. And if you use a Dremel, you might crack the bisque.
Sure.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So
And
these can be, you can take a bowl and turn it into a teacup.
Oh,
Or a teapot.
Yeah.
You can make a lid for it, you can pour the spout for it, you can make a handle, and you can attach it all. I actually have a bowl that does it.
Let's see it.
So this is all the accessories for the bowl.
Okay, I see, yes.
So you've got your spout for your teapot, the handle, the spout, the lid for the spout, and then the lid for the pot.
Okay. Then you can attach them.
It all goes on that bowl right there.
Yeah. With glue.
This bowl, this one right here.
Okay.
And it all goes on that and turns it into a teapot.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing what you can do with greenware.
Yeah, it's neat. I would have never thought of that. That's lovely.
Yeah.
And where do you get these molds from? Do you have to order them from
They
far
are
away or?
They are ceramic ceramicists stop doing
Ceram-
producing greenware,
Okay,
and they're wanting to
ceramicizing.
get rid of the molds, you're finding them used.
Okay,
So I'm always looking for more because this is all I've got.
sure, yeah. Well, but clearly you can make creative things out of them, right? You
Oh,
can,
yes.
Yeah, it's not just one purpose, so
Yeah, I had a lady take that pot at the end there and turned it into a cauldron.
great, yeah. Nice.
So yeah,
That's lovely. I think the next stage, I'm really curious. We talked about the kiln
Yes.
when we were chatting and in the going trips in the van that you took. So let's
Oh,
see
yeah.
this kiln, what it would look like. This is the
this
kiln. So yeah, so tell me about this. This is where the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens. So when I put the greenware pieces in here, which I have some in here. So this is a greenware piece, terracotta clay. But I would load it into the kiln. Anything that's greenware doesn't need to be stilted. Anything that's been glazed, I have to use those stilts over there and put them underneath the piece.
It's this thing?
The ones right behind you with the metal prongs.
Oh, okay. Oh, these things, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything that gets glazed, I have to put those underneath and then put those in. And then you can only put so much, and then you have to add a shelf, and then you have to add the posts to make the height of your pieces. Because anything that's glazed, if it touches the shelf, if it touches the side of the kiln, it'll stick to it.
Oh, okay.
And that's bad.
Yeah. I would say.
I fired a low fire.
Okay.
So usually it's cone 04 to 06. A lot of people around here fire mid-fire, high fire, which is more cone 6 as opposed to 06.
I don't know what those things mean.
Yeah,
but-
they're the low fire has the O in front of it.
Okay, so it's not as hot then? Or,
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So they're only about, I think it's about 1200 degrees,
Okay,
roughly,
yeah.
that the kiln goes to.
Yeah. And it just takes longer then, or?
It takes about 12 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I can start it in the morning when I get here, and it'll run all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just have it vented, so it vents outside so that nobody gets the gas smells
Sure.
of the kiln from the glaze and stuff like that. But
And what are these little holes for?
those are your peepholes. So sometimes when the kiln's running and you need to check on your pieces, you can actually take the peephole out, the plug out, and look right through the peephole to see how your pieces are doing.
Great.
If something's melted,
A little too late.
blown up.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, a little too late by that point, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then usually I'll take those out when the kiln's done and help it vent so it cools off a little bit quicker.
Great. And this, you hauled this in a minivan, hey?
A Dodge Caravan.
Looks heavy.
Yep.
All right. Our last stop in our journey here is to the smash room,
Yes.
which I'm very excited about. We're gonna smash some stuff. Let's go. Is the smash room like the most popular thing?
I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I've had that one class in here and that's about
Oh, really?
it.
That's okay. I thought, yeah. Okay.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more popular, but
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to make it more popular because it's going to be
Maybe.
amazing.
turn into the dark dungeony basement.
All right. So we start over here. We have to have our safety gear. Yes.
Yes.
Right. So we have these lovely. These look familiar, so we can protect our faces. Do I have to wear this the whole time? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the whole time you're in there. Once you throw it at the wall, don't pick it up off the floor
Okay.
and rethrow it unless it's a really big chunk. But be careful with your hands because
Sure.
sharp edges.
Sharp. Okay. And I can smash any of these things.
Yes.
That's great.
You get your choice
Yeah.
of pick boat, whatever you like.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna do it. Yeah. You're gonna come in with me, or
Heck, no, one
No.
person at a time in there.
one person at a time? Okay. All right. But Perry's gonna come with me. You have to because you're filming. Do I have to put this on your face? Maybe I should put this on Perry's face.
Maybe.
You can put it on his face here.
Just in case he's got a piece flies out.
Right? This is a little more clear. That's better. All right.
You can always stand at the gap of the plastic.
Is it loud?
Yeah, we hear it upstairs.
Gonna smash a couple plates. Okay. Got these lovely bowls here and some plates, and there's this dragon thing that some child made, I'm sure. So that Lora made, right? I'm going to smash this.
That was my test dummy. So I have the mold for that.
Okay.
And I carved all the scales out because I was going to turn it into a lamp. Mm-hmm. And then I tested out some glaze colors on it, and I didn't like it, so now it's going down here.
Great. I'm so happy that it is. I think that's enough things. Maybe one more thing.
It's the repurpose room.
Yeah, this looks, I don't know. Sure. For those who like to garden, let's do it. All right, we're going to go into the smash room. Come on in. And I can just smash it anywhere I want.
Anywhere you want.
Is this a good distance? Yeah. That's amazing! So much fun. Oh my goodness, you have to come to the smash room. Well, this has been the Windy City's finest, on location with Mac and Perry. I'm Mac, he's Perry, and this is
Laura.